Hey everyone, Andrea from Summit Valley Soap here. It is time to start on holiday and winter soaps. This is the first one of the year, and I have to say, this is my absolute favorite time of year to be a soap maker. This one is called Birch Trees and Blue Sky. We're gonna start by making our birch trees. Our fragrance is Cracklin' Birch by Nature's Garden. This is one of my absolute favorite scents to work with. It's a unisex scent, probably more on the masculine side. And it's crisp and clean. It reminds me of like cold mountain air. I have my oils ready to go. We put the fragrance in already, and there is our lye. I'm going to mix this up until it's just at a thin trace, definitely emulsified. And then here is some activated charcoal. I'm gonna pour just a couple ounces of the batter off into that charcoal so that I've got a little bit of black batter. The fragrance does discolor to kind of a yellowish tone. It's really pretty unattractive. Kind of looks, I don't know, kind of like urine, frankly. So I'm using a lot of titanium dioxide to try to offset that yellow color. My oils in my batter recipe are pretty yellow too, so I'm having to do double duty here, trying to get it as white as possible. I won't get any better than like a tan or a light cream, and that's fine just as long as I don't have that dingy yellow color. I've been in the bad habit of not getting things emulsified enough, so I used my hand blender there to get this up to a little thicker trace than usual. I'm being a little braver, getting things a little bit thicker just to get better results. It really is a tightrope walk to not get too thick or too thin. I use my mini mixer to get my activated charcoal batter ready, and I'm pouring it into a squeeze bottle. And I'm gonna do my best to make these black lines and push them down a little bit into the batter, but because it's thicker, it's not necessarily cooperating. So I'm using this metal swirl tool, which is actually just a stainless steel kebab skewer, but it works really nice. So I'm pushing that down in there, swirling it around a little bit. I have an idea for how this is gonna work, and I'm gonna need to plane several layers of that off. So I want it down in there so that I don't end up just with the white batter. I really need that black to come through. So I'm pushing it down, trying to make sure that the design goes at least a few millimeters thick. I will be slicing this up into 4 different logs or 4 different trees. So I'm trying to think of the design in a smaller scale because it's not going to be one giant log. So here it is the next day, and we're going to cut it up. I'm going to cut it into 4 pieces, fairly equal. I'm not worried about them being super straight or anything. They're going to be trees, and trees in nature are definitely not perfectly uniform. All right, so let's get this mold lined again, and we'll pour the rest of this batter. I'm gonna do this kind of like pineapple upside down cake. I'm gonna take that side with the design and put it down. And what is the bottom of the mold will actually be the face of the soap. So I'm putting all of these in here, lining them up where I want them. And then we'll set this aside and get our Blue Sky batter ready to go. I have my oils with the fragrance already in there. I'm going to use Mad Mica's Aphrodite to color this. It's a nice, beautiful light blue color. I wish I would have gone a little bit lighter. Still gorgeous. Turned out beautiful, but I probably would have preferred a little bit more of a Tiffany blue. Get my gloves on here, and we'll add the lye. And once we get this mixed up to trace, I'm just going to pour it over the top of my birch trees. Try to get it down into all the nooks and crannies. And again, I'm going to use my hand blender and bring this up to trace. And I probably brought it a little thicker than I needed to. But again, it's just this trial and error. You know, when you first start soaping, you go too thick, and then you get a little braver and you go too thin. And I'm really trying to find that Goldilocks zone. And I feel like I've been doing things a little too thin and creating some other issues. So I'm getting quicker, I'm getting faster, and thicker batter just doesn't throw me off anymore like it used to. I'm having to use the spatula to just really try to force this down into all the nooks and crannies. There was a lot of them, so this made me nervous. This is just me tapping it out, and I can see a lot of bubbles popping up, which tells me this is settling down to where it should go. I did off camera use an offset spatula to smooth this out a little more, but I'm planning on having to plane the front and the back of the soap quite a bit, so this definitely didn't need to be perfect. So here we are the next day. Let me get the liner off of this and we'll cut it up. I had planned on making 12 bars, but after I made my birch trees, I realized I really didn't have enough. And so I ended up with this 8-bar recipe. And I'm actually kind of glad I went smaller, even though it was an accident, because there's a couple things I would do differently if I have demand for these and need to make more. If I had to do it all again, I would pour about 3/4 of that blue batter first, then go ahead and push the birch trees down, same way I did, design side down, and then I would pour the rest. I think that would make for less bubbles and it would allow me to get it down in there easier. Now, once I got everything planed off of these, they really were gorgeous. It did take a lot of work, a lot of cleanup, which I figured in the planning that would be necessary. I was really worried I was going to have a lot of bubbles and a lot of gaps, so it was nice to see how pretty it was once everything got cleared away. I really love how these look. It looks like beautiful big sky blue with those trees, and with that crisp scent, it really does remind me of just a cold, clear walk in the forest. Ugh, I love it. But yeah, lots of work here in both the planing and the beveling. But the end product was gorgeous, so, you know, it's all in a day's work. So my winter and my holiday soaps will go on sale November 1st. I have several planned. This is the first one. Like I said, I think it turned out gorgeous. So thanks so much for coming by and watching this. If you are interested in my soap, my Etsy shop is Summit Valley Soap. You can also follow me on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. And of course, be sure to like and subscribe while you're here on YouTube. And once again, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day.